It's good to be with you guys. You know, when found out yesterday about what was coming today, the first thing I thought of was the survivors, and spent spent the spent the evening thinking about all that and going through from how they must feel knowing that there's going to be an end to all of this and how long this has been going. And then my mind went to President Livingstone and her team and what they've been through, and to Mac Rhodes and his team, and the talks that we've had and the the way that he's handled all of it. I thought of our coaches, a lot of the staff that has been here previously, and have fought, negative recruiting because of all of it. So, I mean, I started with the survivors, but didn't really get a lot of sleep last night thinking about all of it, and then getting up this morning. We alerted the staff, and then went about our installs and about our walkthroughs. And when we heard what it was, we were able. Mac was able to meet with the team after our walkthrough. I think it was from 10 to 11, and so we broke at 11 in here, and he was able to break the news to them. And I thanked Mac and President Livingstone for all of their hard work, and the positive actions that they gave me, for instance, and then got to the team and said, we need our best day today, and we've got to be able to turn the corner with this. There's a lot of lessons to learn from it, and we're gonna continue to do that teaching as we move forward. I'll take any questions you guys got.
Yeah, Dave, did you feel any sense of relief that the penalties weren't harsher, like a bowl ban or scholarship loss?
I didn't really think in those terms. I thought of, like I say, I thought of, I was at the trial really in December, and so listening to it and just hearing the details and just being a part of that, gave me greater insight into it, and I was able to put myself in a lot of people's shoes. So I spent most of my time with that.
Dave, how much would you say there has been that aspect of negative recruiting that you guys have had to deal with since you arrived?
I have not dealt with it. I don't feel any of that. I know that some of the guys that have been here before, I think, have been in some pitched battles and have commented on that. And so I think, I would be absent to say that that doesn't happen or has happened and all of it. From that perspective, it'll be good. It's good that there's been a decision, and we can move forward.
Dave, you took this job not knowing what might come down, and I know you say you're not so much of a lead, but does this just validate why you're here, knowing that you guys can now move forward and turn the page?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I would say it. I would say I'd be blessed. I think Baylor has and continues to change me and change my family, and I believe I'm becoming better. I'm becoming better because of it, and I think of that. I think of there's been some trials and tribulations. I'm sure there's going to be more.
Dave, do you feel like maybe y'all turn the page and maybe y'all can kind of move on now because you know the sanctions and all that?
Well, we had a good practice today. I think the focus, keeping, I think there is a line in there of how important, we talk about class all the time, about having good manners, about treating people with respect. People that can't do any good for you, in this particular moment, it's important to treat people with respect. And I think, you know, we talk a fair amount about being humble. And then we talk about integrity, like we have really high standards. Class is a high standard for us, and daily, you know, it's hard to do with the egos and everything else that's just a part of just the world we're in. And so I think, you know, that is I think a major takeaway from all of this, just how important that is, just your daily interaction with people. But then I think, you know, when you're in the moment of today, it's important when there's outside stuff coming to not let the outside affect the inside. And you know, let's focus on the job that we have at hand.
How do you feel like? Okay, how do you feel like the players responded to your challenge of saying we have to have our best day today?
Good, yeah. I thought when I said that, I could see eyes, I could see eye contact, I could see nodding heads, I could see attention, you know. And our staff was able to echo that. I thought we really put our best foot forward. I thought this was one of our better days, one of our longer practices, but still one of our most energetic ones.
What are some of the things that y'all are doing as a coaching staff to make sure something like this doesn't happen again?
Yeah, I think our whole thing is to be a better person. Very important to me. I think better people make better players. I feel like so many times we're just so focused on what we do, we don't spend enough time to really know who we are. And I think, you know, the being becomes before the doing. And it's hard. I think college football, I mean, doesn't necessarily recognize, you know, the being as much as it is the doing. And I think, you know, I'm a product of that, and a lot of other people are. I think the order is wrong, and I think to be a better person, we talked about today. I think today's a great example about competitive maturity. Like the harder things get, the more pressurized things get, the more stress you're under in those circumstances is when you need to be your best. That would be tied to the integrity of who you say you are off the field. On the field, you would play as a representative of that standard. And so I think it's tough to do, easy to say.
Dave, as far as the restrictions go, as far as with recruiting, will that apply to players in the transfer portal as well, or is that a different animal?
I've not put much thought into that. I think for us, like, I feel good about where our class is right now. I feel good about the contacts that we've had with prospective guys that are needed to fill our class. I think we've got a real good beat on who those people are, and I feel like we've got a real good understanding of their parents and their values and how Baylor can fit those values. And so I think we're, you know, one of the advantages of the June that we had was we're pretty far along in that push, and so I'm excited for that.
Talk about not really feeling any sense of relief or anything like that, but for these players that weren't here, that didn't have anything to do with it, is there, you know, a deep breath that now that's not hanging over their head anymore either, that they can, you know, just play and not have to worry about that black cloud as Matt kind of called it earlier?
You know, I felt like when Mac was when we were here, we were there at the middle of the field, and all the guys were on a knee. I could feel them attentively listening to Mac, and I think Mac was on point. You could feel his energy. I thought was very focused and very on point. And so that was a strong moment, man. So I know they were invested in it, you know. But once you know, Mac said what he said, and I commented on at the end, it was you know, how much time before lunch is over, you know. So we were able to get right to it.
Dave, is there any part of the sanctions that might be tougher to deal with than some?
No, I think, you know, any time that you have restrictions, you have to make adjustments. But you know, we've got really good people at the helm that can help with that and see a path forward with that. I think that's something that we'll take and we'll do, and we'll get better with it.
Dave, as far as you're coming off a year where you're already restricted with recruiting, right? Can you use that to help as y'all are navigating going forward with these sanctions?
Well, I think what we can use is when we are allowed and we are in position to be face-to-face with people. I think, the culture that really Mack Rhodes started and the quality of people that we have, and that goes for coaches, but, that goes for athletic trainers and academic advisors and tutors and learning specialists and administrative assistants and you name it. The quality of people that we have, that our team feels family, and they feel seen, man, right, outside of just, how they're playing and all that. And so I think when you get people here and their parents here, that's a feeling that they catch too. And so I think we get that opportunity, we'll be in a good spot.
Dave, I was just curious, it's been a long time since we heard about Squirrel Williams. Where is he as far as his progressions go?
Good, Squirrel is a team favorite. So if I'm not, if my eyes are not in that direction in terms of who's on the field, the guys will let me know because they'll be all chanting Squirrel. So they love for him to be on the field. I think his energy is contagious. I think his speed is very apparent, very sudden. I think there's, Squirrel's a little guy that plays like a bigger guy, and so that can be good and bad. I think, with Grimy and the offense finding ways to utilize him on the perimeter and off tackle to avoid kind of those A and B gaps, possibly C gaps, I think would be ideal. But he's a dynamic guy, and so he is definitely in the plans. The players will definitely let me know when he's in the game.